One of the things that I really like about watercolour painting is the different surfaces you can use. Today's painting I'm going to be using this hot press paper. This is my Bockingford sketch pad. So it's £140 and I'm going to be using my Horadam Schminke Horadam paints. And as usual, I'll be kicking off this painting using my 1-inch Hake brush. So it just gives me plenty of water on the brush. And I think the difference with this paper is you really can't be shy with the paper, with the water on the paper. You've got to use lots of water, get that pigment moving. I have noticed that if you don't do that, if you don't pay attention, then you will have hard lines. The paint seems to sit a lot longer on the surface of the paper, so you get those as the paint dries, you get hard lines, and also you can get cauliflowers and blooms and all that sort of thing if you're not too careful. So I'm just starting off, and sometimes it's nice when you don't have clean water, so you can see exactly where you've put the wet on the paper. You can see the dirty water there, and I've started off with a little bit of almost grey from my palette, and then just dipped into, I believe it's olive green. I really like that colour, the Schminke Horadam, and then add a little bit of blue to that, and I am using a little bit of my super granulating colours. I'm not sure of the colour. I think it's like a neutral tint, but you can see different colours coming through. And then I've just dipped into burnt sienna. So that's the red that I'm using here on the right hand side. So these are distant trees. They're going to be sort of faded, and you don't want to paint these. Well, I don't want to paint these all the same sort of same strength. So I want to blot some out, I want to take some away, I'm going to add to them. But this is just the beginning, this is just the first wash. So it's not too important at this stage, but I just wanted to cover some of that paper and get plenty of water, plenty of liquid on there, so that you get lots of movement, you get lots of colour blending into each other. And then, as you can see, with a clean damp brush, I'm just lifting back some of that pigment. Gives a little misty effect. And this painting is more of an experiment. I've painted with hot press paper a few times. I wouldn't say it's my favourite paper, my favourite surface to use, but I do want to learn a bit more and practice a bit more on it. And I know botanical painters, people who paint flowers and details and portraits, things like that, it's quite a sought after paper because you can get those really fine details. And so as I work through this painting, I'll show you some of the things that you can do with this paper. But first of all, you just want to use plenty of water, plenty of pigment, just get all those colours mixing and doing the thing on the paper, and just keep your eye on any hard edges that you may not want. And then as you build up the painting, add different layers, then you can start to add the finer details. So it's a bit different from other paintings that I normally do, other landscapes. You can see I've just grabbed a store card, so I'm just scraping out some chunks from the dark pigment. Maybe I could have done this a bit better, I'm not sure, but I'm still learning with this hot press. It's not a surface that I tend to use usually, but I just wanted to get some more texture, and I'm using my mop brush just to dab in some foliage, some trees, and just some small details. And you can see this is almost like vignette? Is that the word? I can't say the word. This painting. So you can see as I get further along in the painting, that's when I start getting the smaller brushes, using my liner brush now just to get some finer detail. And I will be fiddling a little bit. I'll be using a bit more detail for this one. It's a bit different to the normal cold press. Because of the surface, I want to get some nice little details in there. So in order to add a bit more interest, I'm adding some darker tones to some of the branches, some of the trees, a little bit more darker intense colour, and then some that will be faded and almost gone in the mist. And that just gives a little bit of interest, a little bit of mysteriousness to the painting. And that's something that's nice to do with trees and these sort of forest scenes. Usually I don't use too many paints, too many colours. I like to tend to use 3 or 4 different colours. But for this one I'm probably using 5 or 6, including the burnt sienna, bit of Payne's grey, bit of that blue, that olive green, yellow ochre and a bit of yellow. That's probably the handful of colours that I've chose to use in this, and then just mixing a combination of each just to get the different tones, and just playing around and adding different textures and seeing really what works on this paper, seeing how easy it is to lift, seeing how easy it is to blend, just trying different things out like that. And pretty much know what it's like on cold press because I'm so used to it. But for me, hot press is a slightly different way of painting, and I think you can really push yourself with details and go for the smaller brushes and things like that as you build up the painting. As you've had your first few layers, then you can start fiddling a bit and adding finer details. So you can see one of the things that I have changed as I've progressed through this painting, starting from the #1 Hake brush. You can use any sort of large brush, including some sort of mop brush. But then I'm using the liner brush, as you can see. And I like to use this for all different type of things, not just for pulling up stems or branches or twigs. It's also nice to get a little bit of texture as well. Just use it as if you're using it as a mop brush, and because it's hard to control, it's sort of the hair of the brush sort of splays everywhere, so it gives an interesting mark as you do that. As you can see here, this is the type of thing I'm on about, and it's nice to add little bits of foliage with this one as well. It's always nice to scrape out some rocks in your watercolour landscape paintings. For this, I think every now and then I like to do a painting where I'm just experimenting with my brushes, with paint or any sort of material that I've got. So this is pretty much the same. I'm just trying different techniques, seeing what works and what doesn't with this hot press paper. Again, this is Bockingford 140 pound cold hot pressed. I get in the habit of saying cold press. So it's quite nice paper to use. Quite I guess if you was to compare it with ash, then it's somewhere in between. It's quite nice to use. Quite inexpensive, but I do like this paper. And so I'm just adding marks and seeing what works and what doesn't. Let me know in the comments section which paper you tend to use. Which do you prefer out of hot press, cold press? Which do you prefer to use? I guess it depends on what sort of things you're painting, but for me, usually I do use cold press, but I'm sort of enjoying this one. I'm liking the details that I can use, and I can go a little bit tight, just for little bits here and there. It's quite nice to do, and so that's what I'm doing here. You can see even a smaller brush, even still, just a small round Da Vinci brush, just to get little details, little bits of foliage, and then just adding some darks to the rocks in the foreground, just give it a little bit of contrast. But I really like the area just above the rocks, this sort of blue, sort of just, I like these paintings when you see these watercolours and it's almost like a bit of spilt ink, a bit of a mess, and then a little bit of painting comes out, and then you still got the rough sort of blobs and pigment splattered everywhere. I like that. I like that sort of look, that looseness, and so I'm liking that area in this painting. So I'm learning as I'm doing this. It's a nice little experiment for me. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up for this video if you're liking what you've seen so far. Please do leave a comment, let me know what you think. Which sort of paper do you use? Which materials do you like? Do you use the Schmincke Horadam range of paints? Is it the super granulating paints that you use? Let me know in the comment section. I'd be interested to know what you think. Do you prefer the hot press paper, or do you prefer cold press or rough? Let me know what you think. So just adding a little bit more, just expanding this painting just a little bit. I like these paintings where they're not all the way to the sides. They're just like a vignette. I think that's the word. I think I got there in the end. And then I just wanted to add a little bit of a path or some sort of ground in the middle there. So I'm just using raw sienna for that, and just letting that sort of break up the painting, just a nice bit of colour in the middle. And then with a bit of yellow, I'm not sure what yellow it is, it's quite a bright yellow, just adding that to this tree and dipping into a little bit of the already mixed up blues and colours that I've already been using. But I just wanted to, and you can fiddle around with these paintings, these sort of things you can do for, spend as much time as you want, make them as realistic as possible, add as much detail as you want. You can go in with small brushes and just really take your time and enjoy the process. But I'm quite enjoying this one. It's quite a nice, something different. I'll probably be using this hot press paper again, maybe for my next video. But let me know what you think. If there's any ideas, anything you'd like me to paint with this hot press paper, just let me know. But that's it for this week. A nice simple one. I've kept it as short as possible. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.